Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently winding down what purchases the game will allow us to do. There are a number of purchases we can do up in Sweden yet, and then there's like 2 that we can do in Brazil. And that's it at this point. So that's absolutely fantastic. That of course means this series is approaching its wind down, but it won't be just yet. I think, what episode is this? This is going to be episode number 97. We might end on or around 100. We'll see. But for now, we need to buy up any of Sweden that they'll let us buy. That actually let us buy a little bit. So that'll open up some additional Swedish territory for us to purchase. That's very, very good. Hopefully they'll actually sell it to us. Let's see what we've got here. No on that one. What about this one? No. How about this one? No. And how about this last one here? Actually, they sold us that. Does that open up anything else? I don't think it will. No, it doesn't. So we'll have to wait out some cooldowns there. That's understood. We'll build infrastructure where we can up over here. But our primary concern at this point is not so much on infrastructure as it is we're going to have a war with the Allies relatively soon. That's for sure. And the question is, when is that going to happen? And how bad is it going to be for us? Well, we're going to win it in the end. Why are you only here? Okay, I'm going to split this force in half. We're going to take half of them down to this side. And the other half, we're going to expand this front line, which is, for some reason, only right here. We're going to expand that all the way down to there. Okay, so they're on the way there. That looks fine. Now, we know that there's a couple of locations out over here that we don't have any troops around. And we know there's some locations like this that are going to be spicy. To that end, I'm actually thinking about building land forts directly around these areas that we expect are going to be pretty spicy. Because they're going to have a large amount of forces to array against us here, and our number of troops are very low. No doubt about that. So, do we have the same thing going on over here? Well, we don't actually know exactly how many troops there are, but there's a lot. So, I think that we are, in fact, going to... In fact, most of these are already built here. That's interesting. I don't think we did that. But okay. Sure, that seems fine. What's the troop count over here looking like? 71. Okay. I'm going to make the argument that we can definitely build here as well. So we'll get some land defenses over there. I'm not expecting major issues here. Nor am I expecting major issues here, although maybe we should be expecting major issues over here. Yeah, we'll see. This one, there's quite a lot of troops here as well. So we're going to make a set of land forts here. Now, we're almost certainly going to be naval invaded in some areas. Our plan... Oh, wow, 240 over here? Okay. Our plan is to wrap up some of these areas fairly quickly, but some of these others, there's so many troops here that I am not at all convinced that we're going to get that wrapped up quickly. So we're going to dig in preemptively in those areas. So this isn't that many troops here. It's not that many troops here. Down over this direction, there's not that many. Over here in Libya, we don't have anyone covering that. So that is absolutely noted. This down over here, we can't reach. So we'll need to come down here eventually. We'll need to have some forces for that. And the question is, how far are we away from getting some of these divisions recruited? Well, this is a ways, but we still have some purchases to do, so I'm not sure we're going to declare this war this episode. For one thing, we'd need to justify. I think we are justifying on France, aren't we? Did we start that? No, we didn't. Okay, so that's noted. For the time being, I'm going to leave it be. So that seems fine for right now, but we definitely have some glaring gaps at this moment. One here. 2 here. and 1 here. So that's 4 total in the old world. That's not that many, but it is a decent number. And then in the new world, it's a lot. This is all part of the allies. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish, and 6, and kind of 7 here, right? So that's understood. That's going to take time. We'll have to do naval invasions as well, but we've got like 11 gaps here. And that's going to be a little bit on the rough side. So I'm just thinking about how we might want to handle that. For now, I would like to purchase more of this Brazilian terrain. That will give us fewer gaps. And we'll have fewer gaps, but also kind of an extra gap up here once we're done purchasing. Because we'll have this front, and then we'll have this front here, right? Although this front, these are part of the Norwegian People's Republic, so we won't be at war with them. So that's absolutely noted. I do want to get a core going since we're going to have the political power, and we're just waiting on purchase cooldowns at this moment. But this is going to be spicy at this time, and it'll be less spicy if we delay it. The question is, how much do we want to delay this? Hey, look, Chile declared war on Chile. So that's shocking. Not at all. We are definitely going to get some of these Brazilian areas taken over. So this will reduce by... Well, these are 2 states here. So that'll reduce by some. This is 1 front, though, and 1 front here. So this will reduce by 2 fronts over this direction, and this will increase by 1 front for a net reduction of 1 front. So... it's going to be awkward, I think, basically no matter how we slice it. And some of these fronts are going to be really, really rough. Well, we can try to buy more from the Equatorial Socialist Republic. Oh, I missed that there was some of that available still. We got it, so that's great. But it doesn't really change our number of fronts at all. So we're giving it another day here before we can get another one of these. We're going to try to purchase one of these Brazilian states. After the autosave, anyway. Unwilling to part. Okay. Well, we can get our infrastructure... No, we can't. Well, there's infrastructure to be built over here, anyway. Anti-air can go in out over this direction, and then there's no coastal forts to be built other than what's down over here, which I guess we can build. I doubt we'll be kicked off of this continent, so that seems reasonably fine. So we can do something along the lines of that. And then, of course, we can start building our civilian factories back up. So let's get those going. That's South America good. And then North America is going to look something like this. There we go. And then, of course, Asia. There's apparently quite a number of these we need to build. Okay. That's absolutely fine, but we are very, very close to the end of this. That's for sure. So let's get all of this put together. There we go. Everything is looking magnificent here. Except for the open areas at this point. That's the main issue. So we'll need to get those done, but ooh, we can build here. That's neat. And off over here. Yeah, this is a lot of factories, actually. Okay, so something along the lines of that. A couple in Africa, but not too many overall. So that looks good. Now let's see if we have any more purchases we can do. There's 2 that we can try from Sweden. So let's see what we get here. They gave us that one. Okay, perfect. And where's this one? I'm not seeing it highlight. Okay, is that this? I think it's this. Yeah, we got it. Perfect. So now we can try a little bit more of Sweden. And we got that too. Excellent. So now there's only a couple of Swedish territories left, for sure. And there's still some Brazilian territory left to take. To my knowledge, I believe that to be the final few areas to grab here. So, let's grab what we can of Sweden here. They accepted that. Perfect. And next up will be Agder from the Norwegian People's Republic. Unwilling to part with this land. Okay. So we're interested in buying that, but that's not part of the allies, so that doesn't really have that big of an impact on us. So that's definitely very interesting. I do want to get some infrastructure put in out over here in these newly acquired Swedish territories. I don't think we got anything down here, did we? Actually, we can build there. That's not impassable. Remarkable. Okay, so we'll need some anti-air going in. And this is also a location to build anti-air here. There we go. We'll, of course, need some coastal forts. Quite a lot of them up over here, actually. But we're mostly just waiting on the purchase land cooldowns at this point. Now, to be clear, this isn't really... Like, the amount of land that's left to purchase from the Allies at this point is fairly negligible. This isn't really going to have any material impact on the war. So that's certainly noted. Okay, let's get some of these factories built up. And then there's only a couple more areas to go for. Hopefully the cooldowns will be good on them, but for now, this looks absolutely great. Now, there are definitely locations in Africa that are neutral that we could go after, but I just feel like it's not really worth the series' time investment, considering just how little opposition there will be. With the Allies, at least there will be some amount of opposition. We know they've got a decent amount of regiments. So we'll have to reduce the number of fronts, but in locations like this, it's going to be tough. They're going to take a lot of attrition, though. And I don't know how well we'll hold this area. That'll be really interesting to find out. I don't think we want to attack in here. Not until we have additional forces in the area. That's for sure. Did we get all of our factories built over here? Yes, apparently so. Okay, cool. So that all looks good. I do want to check to see here if there's any more purchases we can try to do. Oh, we can try to buy a location from the Communist States of America. Oh, those islands again. Right, I forgot about those. Got them. Beautiful. So next up is another location in Brazil. There are currently 3 states in Brazil that we can still purchase. So let's get one of them if we can. They're unwilling to part with it for now. So that is, of course, very unfortunate. We can get some infrastructure going up here and some anti-air going up here. And then, of course, coastal forts. There we go. And then civilian factories. There should only be like 4 of these that we need to do, I think. There's 2, 3, and I'm not sure where the 4th is. Ah, here it is. After the autosave, anyway. Actually, there's 5. Okay, cool. So that's absolutely fine for now, but we're just waiting on these cooldowns. So there are currently, up over here, there's 1, 2, 3 states that we can purchase. Well, 4 and 5 states overall that we can purchase from Sweden. And then, what do we have going on over here? Hang on. Oh, that's a railway gun. Okay, I was mildly confused there for a moment. We have 5 states that we can purchase from Sweden and 3 states that we can purchase from Brazil for 8 overall. We have to wait on cooldowns for them, and that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, we're basically ready to pull the trigger on this, except for the fact that we don't have everywhere encapsulated, right? And we're not going to have everywhere encapsulated, I don't think, by the time we're ready to do this. We are recruiting up, and we'll have these infantry ready to go fairly soon. So that seems relatively fine. And we can start sending some of these units out over here, but I kind of want to get Europe covered first. And we have this out over here ready to go. In theory, we may be able to knock these out pretty quickly and head north. They're definitely going to strike out and take a bunch of this northern territory, and we'll get it back. It's just a matter of time, right? We have all of the resources, basically, at this point. And they have very little that they can do. Okay, so we can roll another Brazilian state here. We got it. Fantastic. There are now 2 remaining Brazilian states. And then of the 5 remaining Swedish states, I see 3 of them are currently available for roll. So we want to get that going as soon as possible. We got 1. unwilling to part with this land. Okay. And we'll come down here. We got that one. And that opens up the additional 2 states down here. So that's a very, very important thing there. Or 3 states? 3 states. Okay. So this front is now open. And there's not going to be any additional fronts that come in. But we're doing very well here so far. Okay, so there's 2 remaining Swedish states that we can purchase, and 2 remaining Brazilian states that we can purchase. That's not a lot, to be sure. Let's get some infrastructure built here. There we go. And also out over here. And of course, some anti-air is going to go in all of those newly acquired states. We will have some coastal forts down over here. Let's get those going. Excellent. Something like that. Hey, look, a war in Chile. That's not surprising at all. No one is shocked about this. Let's get these going. Perfect. And then, of course, we'll need to get our civilian factories, which we'll need to make a number of these. We managed to purchase quite a lot of territory in that round, and that is great. So we'll get all of this rebuilt. Had to click on that 3 times before it was registered. That was exciting. And, oh, down in Australia we need a factory. That's unusual. Okay, we'll just head up over here, get all of our European factories rebuilt. Surprisingly, we need one out here. Okay, that all looks good for now. And I think that's approximately all of them. If it's not all of them, it's close enough. So, now the question is, what do we have for unassigned divisions? We've got these 12. So I'm going to send these 12 up over here to this front. So we're going to make them into a new army here, and we're going to have them be right up over here, although, okay, they are heading there. Sure. That seems relatively fine for now. We can roll up some more leaders now that we've ticked it forward, so we're going to need to promote this guy. There we go. This guy has so many jobs. Okay, next up, we're going to get another one going here. We can only do 2 more for right now. So we'll get this guy in here, and we'll do another one. Okay. So we need 2 more, but we're going to need command power for that. That will regenerate slowly over time. So that seems fine. Next up, we're going to have 12 tanks finishing. And tanks aren't the best at defending, of course. This front is not as optimized as it should be, but ideally by the time we have this war breakout, Oslo will no longer be under Swedish control. This front also needs to be extended down. So we'll do that. Okay. So that's all fine for now, and let's check to see no additional purchases off cooldown at this time. We know there's a total of 4 that we can make that we know of. We could get another core going. Do we want to do that? Is there a reason not to? I think I'll get another core going. So that seems fine. And that is going to cut into our number of civilian factories. That's absolutely fine. Our consumer goods factories are significantly higher because of that, but I'm okay with it. So as of right now, this is looking good. We are able to purchase this location, so there's technically 5 additional states that we can purchase in total, but they're all on cooldown right now, and this one is not part of the Allies. All 4 of the other states are part of the Allies, and will reduce our number of fronts by 2. No, by 3, if we purchase all of them. So that is, of course, a pretty big deal. Ooh, we can try to buy a Brazilian state here. We should absolutely either... Okay, they accepted that. Perfect. We needed to either get it on cooldown or have it be purchased, and it was the latter. So let's get some anti-air in there, and then we are going to need 1 singular coastal fort, and then some civilian factories. So this can build a civilian factory. And what do we have out over here? Yeah. That's probably about all of them. Yeah, so that looks good. Okay. Any more purchases that we can do? There's one additional Brazilian state, there's one Norwegian state, and there's 2 Swedish states, for a total of 4. No, they are all on cooldown at this moment. We have a presence on all of the major continents. This is going to be a bit annoying for us to get to. There's a lot that's all held by the Allies. So we are absolutely expecting them to do naval invasions out over here. And we're not defending this. Also, there's this. Huh. That's part of the 5th Portuguese Empire, which is apparently not part of the Allies? Interesting. Very interesting. I did not notice that previously. We do have forces here, right? We have no divisions assigned to this. Who is supposed to be in this? Army 18? Which army is Army 18? It's one of these. Okay. This one. Where are these guys? Okay, so they're out over here. We're going to need to simply delete this order. And we're going to need to get another army out over here. So this is a location here that we'll need to defend. This is, in fact, part of the Allies, as opposed to Macau over here, which is not part of the Allies. So we do have unassigned divisions here. These are tanks, and I'm going to have these tanks just come on down over here. So I'm going to form them into a new army, and they're just going to come frontline right here. I'm also going to build defenses here, I think, because they have a decent number of troops, and tanks aren't the best defensively. So let's do that for now. Okay, how are we doing on our next batch of infantry? We're about half done. So that's good to know. And we can definitely recruit another commander here, but not yet. We need 48 command power for that. So that's not going to happen just yet. Okay, next up is the Norwegian People's Republic state. We got it. Excellent. And then there were 3. Perfect. So next up, we'll get some infrastructure here, and no anti-air needed there. Almost certainly some coastal forts. Yep. There we go. And we'll get these factories rebuilt. This is probably like 4 or 5 factories. I didn't look. Actually, this is quite a lot of factories. Okay. But there we go. That looks absolutely fine for now. So that's completed. And we still have a number of undefended fronts here. 1, 2, 3. This one is defended now, as is this one, which it wasn't before. So 1, 2, 3 in Europe, and then in Africa, we don't expect to have any because this is inaccessible. And then out over here in South America, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And 7? I think 7. But it's going to be reduced to 6 once our Brazilian acquisitions are completed. So that's noted. And actually, we can roll this right now. We got it. Perfect. So Brazilian acquisitions are now complete. So the number of Brazilian states is down to 1 at this point, and we'll need to get all of that surrounded ideally. Our South American holdings are going to be kind of spicy, I think. This whole war in general is going to be kind of spicy. But yeah, we're not going to declare it this episode because we've just got a couple more purchases to do. We are going to declare this war soon. Soon. But not yet. I want to check how we're doing on our cores. I kind of want to have 2 cores going at a time at this point. And how are we doing on this? 43 days? Okay. So that's absolutely fine. No concerns there. Next up, I want to check our cooldowns. That's all fine. So we can develop some resources then. Wonderful. We'll spend our political power that way for now. So that looks good. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we should hopefully acquire those last 2 Swedish provinces that we need. And we'll hopefully get at least some of these fronts covered. We'll see how that ends up going. We might be fine just saying we don't have coverage up here. They can take the northern portion of South America. We'll just set up a defensive line around here after we crush these 2. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. And of course, we've got this here. We can always push back down into South America, right? So it's probably not the worst thing in the world. As long as we get the European ones covered, that would be nice. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.